Massive breaking news coming out of Old Trafford this afternoon with Bayern Munich's Mathys Tel saying yes to Manchester United, as well as Marcus Rashford receiving a fresh approach from the Saudi Pro League. These are some of the topics we will be discussing on this afternoon's show, but before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're just about to hit 40,700, so go and do that right now. Let's get to that next target. And please be sure to like the video as well. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. So let's get straight on into it then, and let's talk about Mathys Tel. And I want to know your thoughts on Mathys Tel. Is he the right man for Manchester United? Would you like to see him join the club this January? Or is there somebody else that you would prefer? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So this story is coming out from Paul O'Keefe. He's a very, very reliable journalist here in the UK. Over 150,000 followers on Twitter. Doesn't put out fake stories, doesn't put out clickbait. And he is reporting this afternoon that Mathys Tel has said that he wants to join Manchester United. And then off the back of that, we also have some breaking news coming out from Sport Bild, which is obviously one of the biggest German outlets, news outlets. And they're reporting that Manchester United are officially interested in signing Mathys Tel this January. It says Mathys Tel has made it clear he does not want to join Chelsea due to the amount of competition there. He wants to play regularly. I mean, I think he'd be absolutely perfect for that, to be honest, because we are seriously lacking in the attacking options. Obviously, he's a centre forward, but he can also play on the wing. He'd be absolutely perfect. I think Rasmus Højlund needs some competition because at the moment he's competing against himself and he's not performing. You know, hopefully Rasmus Højlund turns good, but at the moment it's not looking particularly great, is it, for Rasmus Højlund? So I think, you know, to be able to bring in someone like Mathys Tel, who every time I've seen him recently comes onto the pitch, usually as a substitute, and he does impact games. His stats aren't phenomenal this season, but he doesn't really play very much, hence why he wants to leave Bayern Munich. He's only played 8 times this season in the Bundesliga, having only played 253 minutes. He plays 20 minutes here, 8 minutes there, 26 minutes here. You know, he plays such a small amount of time, and it's usually when Bayern Munich need a goal, or sometimes he comes on when Bayern Munich are winning comfortably. So he's not really had a fair chance at Bayern Munich. Obviously, he moved there, I think it was 2 years ago, for relatively big money. He was only 17 years of age, moving from Stade Rennais over to Munich for a fee worth 20 million euros. His market value at the time was only about 2 million, so it was a massive fee for somebody at that point who was only 16, 17, had never played for France internationally, and was still very much an up-and-coming developmental player. I think he'd be great. Now, just to be very, very clear, it looks like this would probably be a loan deal. But there is some mention this afternoon that it could be a loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. I'd be down for it. As long as the fee isn't too big, I think, you know, if we could get him for around 30 million euros, I'd be happy with that. He's only 19 years of age. He has the whole of his career ahead of him. And I think he does have the qualities that we do desperately need. Some may argue that we need a proven goal scorer, and he is kind of not quite that yet. But I think if we were able to get him now, and then in the summer we go and get someone who's a little bit more proven, someone a little bit older, maybe someone like a Jonathan David. He's not my number one option, but just throwing a name out there. Obviously, Jonathan David is available in the summer as a free agent. He's a little bit older. I think he's in his mid-20s. He's 25. Somebody like that. Or obviously the dream signing is Gyökeres. But just to be realistic, someone like Jonathan David would be available in the summer for free, only 25 years of age. Imagine that as our 3 strikers, Mathys Tel, Rasmus Højlund and Jonathan David. That, to me, sounds like a team who will be finishing in the top 4. Whereas, no disrespect to Rasmus Højlund, but Rasmus Højlund on his own is not going to get us top 4. Rasmus Højlund and Mathys Tel on their own probably aren't going to get us top 4. We need, in my opinion, at a club like Manchester United, we need 2 or 3 attackers, you know, to be competing at that very, very top level. And I think Mathys Tel would be perfect as another kind of I can't get my words out. As a player to develop, that's what I'm trying to say. But we would obviously need someone a little bit more experienced as well, whether that's Gyökeres, whether that's Jonathan David, whether it's Victor Osimhen. Obviously, we can still try and do that in the summer. Right, so let's bring you the rest of the news on Mathys Tel. So obviously, as we've said, Sport Bild saying that he doesn't want to go to Chelsea. Paul O'Keefe, who, as I said, is a tier 1 journalist in the UK, saying that Mathys Tel has told Bayern Munich that he wants to join Manchester United. This was reported 29 minutes ago, so it is fresh breaking news that Mathys Tel wants to join Manchester United. Now, in relation to the deal, how it will look like, from what we're hearing, it will look like it will be a loan with potentially an option to buy or an obligation to buy. That's what it's looking like. In relation to wages, obviously Manchester United would be expected to cover Mathys Tel's wages until the summer. He's on around £80,000 per week at Bayern Munich, which isn't a massive amount of money. And obviously you've got to remember that we let Antony go, and Antony was on more money than that. And Real Betis are paying, I think it's 84% of Antony's wages. So you can see where the money will come from, because effectively we've let Antony go, we've received a loan fee, we've received his wages being paid, and then we can effectively go and buy Mathys Tel instead. Obviously on loan it is until the summer, at which point then we could look to make it a permanent deal. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I would love to know your thoughts on Mathys Tel. The same journalist who brought the story about him joining Manchester United has also just come out in the last 14 minutes saying that Mathys Tel does not want to join Chelsea or Tottenham. He wants to join Manchester United. So this story is really, really hotting up at the moment. There are some murmurs that apparently Arsenal may enter the race for him. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think he's what Arsenal need. Arsenal need someone in their mid-20s who's scoring 20, 30 goals a season. And at the moment, Mathys Tel is not that. He's 19 years of age. He's kind of just learning his craft. He's very talented, absolutely clinical in front of goal. He's quick, but he's not ready, I don't think, to be, to join Arsenal and be starting every single week. I mean, maybe he is, but from what I've seen of him, I don't think he's the right player for Arsenal. But, maybe they'll look at a different option. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I think it'll be an interesting signing. I think, when you look at it as simply as this, Antony's gone and you're bringing in Mathys Tel instead. Like that's improvement, isn't it? And obviously you're bringing in Patrick Dorgu as well. I think that's a massive improvement on where we were a week ago. So I'm happy with that. Fabrizio Romano is also reporting on this same story, saying that Mathys Tel's decision to leave Bayern Munich, revealed last night, has opened the door to several clubs. He says Premier League clubs are keen and in contact now. The race is open. That was 6 hours ago, so that's a little bit old, that story. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section on that one. And just a quick one, really, really quick. Everyone who's just joined today's video, please do me a small favour and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to drop a link into the chat to do this. We are live every single day. Whenever there's breaking news, I will go live. So make sure you subscribe. Free content, doesn't cost you any money, and be sure to like the video as well. Now, the second story we've got for you this afternoon is on Marcus Rashford. Rashford. We just seem to be talking about this guy over and over and over again. There's no escaping Marcus Rashford. But the story coming out in the last couple of minutes, this is coming out from Ben Jacobs, who I don't think is the most reliable journalist around, but he is very, very reliable around the Saudi League. And he is reporting that Al Ali have made a bid for Marcus Rashford. He says the Saudi club are looking to take advantage of Barcelona's struggle to do a deal. He says Rashford is, although waiting for Barcelona and has rejected Saudi, his position to date isn't changing. For me, this is just frustrating, to be honest, because now this might sound harsh. Some of you might agree with this, some of you might disagree with this. But if I was Manchester United and AC Milan have pulled out of the race, Napoli have pulled out of the race, Dortmund have pulled out of the race, West Ham were linked at one point, Monaco were linked, Como were linked at one point. All of these clubs that Marcus Rashford thought he could move to aren't pulling the trigger on him, are they? They're not. It's as simple as that. Even Barcelona, who apparently are going to sign him, still aren't pulling the trigger on him. If I'm Manchester United, I'm turning around to Rashford and saying, I'm not being funny, but you're not going to play this season. If you stay at the club, you're just going to be in the reserves. Because that's what he has been for the last 2 months, Ruben Amorim hasn't picked him or selected him to play, I think, since the beginning of December. So I would just turn around to him and say, you've got this offer from Saudi here. It's life-changing money. Why don't you go there, find the love for football again, and then in 6 months, he could probably move back to Europe anyway. We've seen so many players move to Saudi, play there for 6 months and then come back, go and earn loads of money and then return. I mean, Jordan Henderson was a prime example, wasn't it? He left Liverpool. He moved to Saudi. I think he was literally there. Let's have a look. He was there for 6 months. He joined Al Ittifaq and then he left Al Ittifaq in the January of the next year and moved to Ajax for free. So it could easily happen, and we probably would get a fee for Marcus Rashford going to Saudi. So if I'm Manchester United, I'm just turning around to him and saying, you don't have a future here. Thank you for everything, but goodbye. You're out of the squad. You're not part of our plans. Move to Saudi. But yeah, for whatever reason, Marcus Rashford still seems to think that he's bigger than that, even though every top club that have been linked to him haven't gone for him, have they? They haven't. Bayern haven't, Dortmund haven't, AC Milan haven't. All of these teams that we thought were in the race for him suddenly don't want him. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. And obviously the fact that, Marcus Rashford is still here is annoying. But yeah, we are where we are. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up there, guys. It's just a quick story for today. Obviously, let me know your thoughts on Mathys Tel. Do you think he's the right player? Does he fit the system? Is he the person who's going to change our fortunes for the rest of the season? Yeah. It's a tier 1 journalist who's put out that story about Mathys Tel, by the way. So it's not some like clickbait story. It's a proper journalist in the UK who doesn't put out fake stories. So it looks like this one probably will happen. So obviously I'll keep you updated on the channel. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Before you leave, please do me a small favor and make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe as well. We're only 2 subscribers away from 40,700 now. So go and do that before you leave. I'll be back tomorrow morning as normal. If anything breaks between then and now, I will go live. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a great day and I'll speak to you all later.